All right, grade 7. I hope that you will have read through the lesson practice parts of this, not the lesson practice, but the notes of this lesson for lesson 95. That we're talking about right triangular prism, we're talking about right square prism, we're talking about a right circular cylinder. We're looking at how to find the volume in these. So I'm going to try to explain it as we work our way through the practice set, because that will have most of that information there for you to work with. So once we go to A, so if you're turning to page 656 in your book, you'll see the instruction there. It has a cylinder that is 8 by 6 by 12, and it also tells us that everything's in centimeters. So rather than getting it confusing, we'll just show that to you. We know that we can find the area of this if you're going to look at it in units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have them not perfectly neat, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got 8 in there. So you know that when you figure this out, it's going to actually have 24 squares, right? Because we figured that out, that it's base times height divided by 2 finds you that surface area of this. Really what they're saying is that we are actually going 12 rows deep, like this. Now I can't get 12 in there, but you're going to understand that it's 12 rows deep. So it happens actually how many times? It happens 12 times. So your formula is base times height over 2 times your length. So let's actually put real numbers in there. If we have 8 times 6 divided by 2 times your 12, that is going to be your volume. So figuring this out further, we can actually shrink this down a little bit by going like this, cross dividing, right? Because it's just like over 1. So really we get volume equals 48 times 6. Now you could figure it out different ways, but I'm choosing this way. 48 times 6 will give you 8, 4, 24 plus 4 is 28. So your volume equals 288. Now you got to remember, we talked about centimeters, centimeters cubed. So you see how you find the volume of that. The next one is a slightly more difficult, but again, not too difficult because you know how to find it. We know that this is a triangular prism, so we're going to have to go base times height over 2, remember, times your length. So the figures that they give you here is that your length going down here is 6, and your width across 10. So we know how to figure that out. And then they say the length here is 12. Okay, so let's plunk our numbers in. Volume equals base, which is 10, times 6 divided by 2 times 12. Again, we can cross this out and make it easier, right? That would make this 1, that would make this 6 when we divide them by 2. So we actually have 60 times 6, right? And so our volume equals 360, again, centimeters cubed. And for C, they give us one other instruction that we have to leave pi equals pi. So we're not going to mess around with that one as much. So we have something with the diameter of 6 and a height of 10. So we know how to find, again, the volume of the area of a circle. We've learned how to figure that out, right? But now we actually have 10 rows of those, again, to cover that same concept. And I won't be able to get 10 in there, but you'll understand how that works. So our volume is going to be our area, which is pi r squared, and it's happening your length amount of times, right? So really, if we're going to put our figures in here, we have to leave pi as pi, radius squared, right, which would be 3 squared times our length, or our height, which would be 10. So, working our way through, we have equals pi times 9 times 10, or volume equals 90 pi, because pi always comes last, centimeters cubed. So that works your way through that. Oh, that was E that I just did. No, that was C that I did. Yep, good, I did that fine. Let's go to D. D I'm going to have to draw, and you know I'm a terrible artist, but we're going to do our best here. So we have our first square coming out like this. That's the top end of this portion, and then it goes down, and it comes out, and then it goes this way, and it comes down here, and it goes out here. Oh, I might have to erase this line here, but we're going to get this, whoops, erase that line. Okay, and then we come down again like so. That goes down, this goes down, and this comes across. There we've got our rough dimensions. We got 5, we have 7, we have 3 here, and we have 2 here. The trick here is that you have to actually divide this off so that it's actually 2 different units. And I'm going to kind of show you with different lines. We're going to treat this portion here as 1 square, and we're going to treat this whole bottom, if I can draw that different color, we're going to treat the bottom as a square by itself as well. Right, so we have 2 different dimensions. So we're going to actually first be looking at that top piece, which is like this. Oh, this is a terrible drawing. Okay, so grabbing the information we know, there's a 2 here, there's a 5 there. That must mean that this length here is going to be a 3. The length going across, oh, I didn't write that number down, but the length going across is 10. That doesn't change, right? So we have, oh, that 3 went funny. We have a 3 there, we have a 10 there. Now we have to try to figure out, with the information that they give us, what this is, and that is written actually across the top there as well. That's 3, right? And then the bottom figures we actually have quite easily. It's going to be a wider one, but it has those figures, and we got 10, 7, 10, and 2. Okay, so let's figure out the area for the top. 3 times 10 gets us 90. Right, and the bottom gets us 2 times 7 times, boy, I'm getting funny designs here. Let's go write that 90 over again. We get 2 times 7, which is 14, times 10 is 140. So in order to find the combined areas, we're adding these 2 together, this one and this one. So 90 and 140 will get us to 230 centimeters cubed. Hopefully that made sense. And the last one, the next one that they give us for E is going to have, again, 1 centimeter here, and we have our cylinder. It's got a length of 10. Remember, we have essentially 10 strips, right? So if we find the area of the first one, we have volume equals pi r squared times our length. So it said leave pi as pi. So we're going to do that. Volume equals pi. The radius is given to us, so that's 1 squared times our length, which is 10. Again, volume equals pi times 10. So volume equals 10 pi, and then that is centimeters cubed. Hopefully that's making more sense as we go along. F is a little bit more of a difficult one. If you'd like, try it on your own. Separate the triangle, the triangular shape from the rectangular shape, and that will find you your area. So the farmer added an attached shed with the dimensions shown to the side of his barn. What is the approximate volume of the addition? List the steps that you would need to find the volume. Now remember, it used the word, what is the approximate volume? So it does give us a little bit of help there, so we can round some numbers off in order to figure this out. But I'll draw it. So here we go. Here he's got his shed. It's got a bit of a slant going up here. And triangular there. There, you can see I've already, and this one's approximately 10. I'm using approximately. This one's approximately 10. This one's approximately 8. And this one's approximately 20. Okay? So if we're going to do this carefully, we can see that this is 8. So that means that this is 2 and this is 10. So let's grab the triangular portion and get that taken care of first. So our triangular portion gives us these dimensions. We have 2, we have 10, and we have 20. So remember, 2 times 10 divided by 2 times 20. Right? So 2 times 10 is 20. Divided by 2 is 10, so we get 10 times 20. So the top is roughly 200. Hopefully you're following along with that. Then we're left with the bottom half, which has 8 by 10. Oh, I'm drawing it the wrong way. I'll draw it this way, make it easier for you to kind of see how that works. So we have 20. We have a height of 8, and it goes out 10. I don't know how I'm drawing this, but it doesn't look quite right, but it's something like that shape. Okay, and this here they say is 10. So again, we're going to have 8 times 10 times 20. So that's 80 times 20. That gives us about 1,600. So when you add those together, your area is going to be 1,800 feet cubed. And that would give you your answer. So that's really how you would find the volume of those different shapes. Remember to break it down to what you know in order to figure this all the way out. So grade 7, do every other one in lesson 95. Remember to correct your answers for 94 and submit that work along with a private comment with your mark for that work. All the best.